seats. Our program is about to begin.
Just had to change the logo or the details of the stream. There we go.
Very good.
My family's huge Patriot fans, so I'm going to send them this description of the event.
Yeah, I'm live streaming on
What I mean is,
YouTube.
it describes him as widely considered as the best NFL quarterback of all time.
Welcome to the Think Innovation Talks. And now, please welcome author, speaker, and your host for today's session, Mark Jeffries.
What a great turnout. Good afternoon, welcome to all of you. First things first, happy Valentine's Day. I can confirm that IBM loves all of you. That's the first bit done. Number two, I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait, there's a British bloke about to interview an NFL legend. Yes, but don't worry about
That's
it.
right.
Yes, I am British, but I moved to the US about 8 years ago. I've had full indoctrination. I am now a huge NFL fan, so we're good. Let's get into the introduction. Even if there are any of you out there who aren't actual ardent football fans, I know that there are very few of you who don't know our special guest today. He's widely considered, of course, to be one of the best NFL quarterbacks of all time. He personifies excellence and personal integrity, both on and, of course, off the field as well. He played with the San Francisco 49ers for 14 years. He still calls this town, San Francisco, his home. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Joe Montana.
Where I can get that accent.
Well, you can buy it online, and it's pretty cheap.
You can get anything online.
You really can. Right, first things first, Joe. Why is it raining so much? This is your city.
I think you brought it with you.
I think I might have done.
I think it's your fault.
It is, yeah. I said yesterday in the Think Theatre, the weather's sponsored by the British Tourist Board. The tagline is, it's always like this, get used to it. All right, so let's get into this. You spent 14 seasons with the 49ers. You started and won 4 Super Bowls. You were the first player ever to be named Super Bowl Most Valuable Player 3 times. And last week, of course, Super Bowl was on again with my now home team, because I live in Boston. But don't worry, I know, I apologize.
Don't worry, we all have personal problems.
Nice.
He's right, he's 100% right. You were there watching the game, right? Were you at Super Bowl, or were you
No,
watching?
I was actually on the plane with Ronnie Lott flying back home.
Oh,
you watched it on the airplane.
You watched it on the airplane. When you see that game play out, how does it make you feel? Do you look at it and think, I wish I was back?
Well, every time you watch a game, you think that. It's one of those things where I played the game for 31 years, starting when I was 8. And so when you quit, it's cold turkey. There's no over 40 league where you can go half of us can't even run, let alone even think about that. But yeah, you miss the game on Sunday a lot. And I think, but the thing you miss more than that is camaraderie in the locker room. And I was a practical joker, so I had a lot of fun in the locker room. But I do miss that. And a lot of great friendships that were made. And yeah, I miss Sundays. I miss Monday though, especially today. As much as they're getting paid, Monday was payday, so I'd like to see one of those checks.
Every Monday, there it was. This is why I do it. Do you think the game has changed for the better, for the worse?
Ooh.
Depends on what part you're talking about. I mean, for a quarterback, it's changed absolutely for the better. I mean, all the rules that are being established today in today's game are set because they want the ball to be thrown. Right. And it makes it a lot, I say easier, but it's still hard and difficult, but it's just at that level for those guys, it becomes a little bit easier. And yeah, I think that part of it's good. I think some of the, some of you Saints fans out there will say, I think part of the system is broke, where it needs to be, you need to, I can't figure out why we can't have a view of every Saints fans right now. The NHL does it with somebody sitting in the box somewhere and they watch everything and they just make it like that. They don't have to go get under a hood. They don't have to do all that. So I think eventually they'll fix that, and then overtime needs to be fixed. I think after two teams fight so hard to get to the championship game, right, and at the end of that game it's still tied and one of them doesn't touch the ball, I think because of a coin toss. I think that part of it needs to be fixed.
So maybe the fix would be equal time in overtime.
I think you should at least have a chance to tie it. Right? I mean, at least give them that opportunity, no matter who it is, no matter which game. Could have gone either way, even in both those games.
True. So much attention in the game is, of course, on the quarterback. Everyone's looking at the quarterback. How much of your success as a quarterback, how much of today's quarterback efforts are based on talent and skill, and how much based on leadership?
Well, I think you have to have the talent and skill to get to that level. Once you're there, the leadership part kicks in. But a lot of it is, I think for a quarterback, the game is 75, if not more percent mental. So it's your preparation on day to day, how you come to work every day, you know, things that you do on Sunday to say, hey, I've been doing my work and this is why, and you can see it because I'm performing. But then the leadership part of it, I think it all differs for everybody on, you know, how leaders are all different. They lead in different ways. So I would say most of it comes from the skill part of it and the preparation.
And did you feel prior to a game, because there are so many leaders in the room, but did you feel prior to a game, prior to an important moment, that you had to say the right thing? You had to, in some way, engage your team in a specific way?
Me? No. Ronnie Lott, yes. That wasn't the way.
You didn't do that?
No, I was more of a leader. I was more of a doer kind of a leader. I didn't. You know, I try to work things out. When we had an issue out on the field, if somebody was having a problem, I wasn't. You know, we never saw you yell at anyone. I go, hey, you know what? I have a problem. I need to fix it before we get to the sideline, because if I don't, we're all going to get yelled at over there. So I try to work things out there. Just for example, a left tackle has the most difficult person to block almost every game. If he's having an issue, can I give you the tight end over there to help? Can I get the back over there to help you? You try to find ways to. I try to find ways to work around it, and still make fun of him while. Yeah, I've got to be myself.
I would love to understand what goes on in the mind in two different situations. Number one, when as a team you're trailing, it's been a bad game, you know people have not played well, you just feel that it's clearly not going to go your way. How do you find that mental capacity to fight back? They called you the comeback kid. You see people in the crowd leaving, they're heading back home because they've already decided you've lost. How do you find the energy to fight back and to win?
Well, I think as a professional, you and a very competitive person, I'll fight all the way to the end, even though the last play, even though if the play, if you're going to let me try to throw the ball, I'm going to try to score, even if it doesn't win the game for us. But I think that in most cases, you go out there and I'll give you an example of what Bill Walsh would do. Bill Walsh came to us, we were losing to the Saints, 35 to, I think it was 13, and late in the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter. And he called us up. And what does everybody do when they get behind a lot? They're all looking for something new. We got to score now, right away. Bill said, look, guys, let's realize today's not our day. What I want to do is go back to our fundamentals. We're going to go back to the fundamental offense, fundamental defense, things that we've done since training camp, first day. And when we get out of here at the end of this game, I want to be going in this direction, getting ready for next week, and get on the upswing. Well, we did that, and we came back and won 38-35. And so it made me start thinking differently about what happens when you get behind and things you start looking at, hey, maybe I've lost sight of our fundamentals, what got us to that position, and why we were playing so well before. Bill started doing some new things, and we started trying to do things that weren't really our best foot forward for our top players. So he would say, okay, let's go back. And when you get back to the fundamentals, everybody's a lot more comfortable. We're throwing simple slants, and John Taylor goes twice for 90-plus yards in a game for a touchdown. I love it. I've thrown 2 passes for 14 yards. I have 198 yards passing. 2 touchdowns, go ahead. So, but those are the things that we did. We went back to the things that we knew was the foundation of what we did, right? And start over again.
And there are, without a doubt, lessons to be learned in business, and we are going to come on to your business activity because it's phenomenal. But one more sports story. For the die-hard 49ers fans in the room, those who have followed the team forever, 1982, an amazing game. Dwight Clark, of course, he catches an impossible pass from you. You win an incredibly important game. What was going on in your mind in the nanoseconds, the only opportunity you had to throw that ball?
What is taking you so long, Dwight?
Can you give them a bit of background?
Yeah, this is a typical Bill Walsh thing. The play that I threw to Dwight, we had never thrown the ball to Dwight at all until that game. And the funny thing is, early in training camp, he made Dwight and I, after one of the second days of practice, go out and do that until we did it 3 times in a row. And we both walked off the field going, wow, silver-haired man's going crazy. He's senile. Dwight's job on that play is basically to go set a screen, a pick, or, well, sorry. He gets in the way of the receiver, back up in the other receiver. And the guy comes off and he's throwing the ball. Well, our guy falls down. So for the first time, Dwight's going, uh-oh, what am I supposed to do now? And he realizes to get back to the end zone, and I just was buying time till he got where he was supposed to be. I told him, I go, why do you have to make it look so dramatic? I said, if you were a brother, that ball would hit you right in the chest. You're this slow white guy, you can't jump. Catch your ball.
It was quite a moment. All right, and then, of course, all good things come to an end. How does somebody like yourself, a true champion, handle the feeling of change, of knowing that retirement is a reality? They all talk about Tom Brady. Will he retire? Won't he retire? He's 41. What should be going through his mind? What was going through your mind?
Well, the way he's playing, you should say, well, yep, I'll be back next year, and the year after, and the year after that. And I think as long as he stays healthy, the thing that goes first typically was the body of a lot of the quarterbacks, because we got hit and drilled into the ground by guys that weighed 350. And today they've taken a lot of that out of the game, so physically it's not the same. And for him, I would just say keep playing as long as you can, because when it's over, you won't have a chance to go back. The guy's arm continues to go. As long as that thing doesn't go sour on him, I think he'll be fine. But for me, I'd had another concussion, I think I can't remember, the 6th or 7th. And I was looking at my family, and the boys were growing up, and the girls I'd missed majority of them early in their years, and so the boys were getting to that point where they were starting to play sports, and I said to myself that I wanted to be physically able to go do things with them. So I probably could have played another 2 years or so, even that, but the concussion, usually concussions don't hurt, but this one hurt. It felt like a lightning bolt going from one side of my head to the other. And it wasn't like I took a big hit. I was falling down and I hit somebody's knee on the side of my head. So I figured it might be time to...
Gives you a fright.
Yeah, time to get out of here.
But on that topic though, and I think this is really for many of us who are on a project or on a deal, they say that comedians always leave the stage on the biggest laugh. Should you leave on your biggest win, or should you wait until you realize you're starting to fail?
Well, right now, a friend of mine a couple years ago pointed out to me that my last pass was an interception in the end zone. And I told him he was lying. He pulled up the video to show me. And I wanted to go back and play at least one more play. Even if it was incomplete.
It's anything.
Yeah, anything. So, okay. So, go ahead.
All right, so let's talk transition now, because Sam, now you're an athlete and you're becoming a business person. What happened? How did that take place?
Well, two guys I played with, Ronnie Lott and Harris Barton, living in the Silicon Valley, a lot of our friends were in the venture community, and what we ended up doing, they called me one day and said, hey, we have this idea, you want to get involved? And I said, yeah, sure, sounds like fun. So we basically leveraged the friendships that we made to access into the top tier venture funds like Sequoia, Kleiner, Excel, Greylock, you name it, we were into it. And those guys helped us grow our company laterally into leveraged buyout, hedge, and real estate funds. So,
but this can't have been an easy transition. You don't go from being an athlete to being an incredibly smart investor just like that. What was the learning curve?
Well, that part of it was a lot easier because we were in a fund of funds. Right. So all we had to do was raise money.
Right.
And just get a good set of knee pads and you were okay. we were always raising money for one of the funds. I think that was the hardest part for us. On occasion, we got to invest a little on the side to a deal here and there, but in most cases, we were basically handing money over to like Sequoia.
So that's how it started. And you famously said in the past that one of the hardest things in business is finding someone you can trust. I'd love to know what you mean by that, and has that changed over the years?
Well, I think one of the things, if you look at a lot of athletes, and there are so many examples of somebody out there financially taking advantage of them. And I think that I was referring to that in the first part because there's so many people that all of a sudden now are in your house, on your phone. I have this deal, I have that deal, and I always tell the guys today, the two worst people around you are your agent and your family. And so they'll be the first two to take advantage of you. But now they've tried to control that with the agents these days. Yes. But back then when I said that, it was still kind of a open end. You could become an agent very easily, and it was hard to find people that you knew that you could trust unless you found a great business person that would give you advice on who that they maybe used and that. But it's hard to get through to the athletes. There's so many layers in between them. And so finding someone where you could trust with your money, because guys really don't want to worry about the money. They want to go play the game. Right. Let somebody else worry about that. And
but they want to know it's safe, and they want to know it's going to the right home, which brings me really to some of your early investments. Can you take us back to some of the early investments, what you saw in a company, in a young seed company sometimes, that you thought, that is where I'm going to put some time, some effort, some money?
Well, it actually started out, Ron Conway, who's one of the top angel investors here in the Silicon Valley, has been a family friend for a long time. And he started taking my son Nathaniel and I to Y Combinator, which is one of the, probably the largest incubator in the world today. And we would go with him and watch what he did, listen to the questions. His fund, SV Angels, we became friends with the guys there. And so we tried to go and learn from them because they're one of the best, if not one, if the best seed fund out there. And eventually, we did a couple things with him. He actually got us into like Dropbox and Pinterest, so pretty happy about those. Pretty good. And then we just started picking a couple little things here and there, and then at some point, my son caught on to a startup really early, and it went on a crazy run rate in under a year and got bought by Twitter, and spent a year and a half at Twitter. But in that time, Ron said, why don't you just start a fund? Instead of picking two companies, you'll be able to invest in a lot more. This game is crazy. There's a lot of, you'll lose a lot of companies along the way, and this will give you a better chance to succeed. So I went out and started a fund.
And this was Liquid 2?
Yes.
This was Liquid 2. And how did you come by that name, by the way?
I wanted the word liquid because it's really like oxymoron, right? Because it's really not liquid, the investment. But everything was taken with liquid, and so like, okay, Liquid 1, it was taken. Liquid 2, not taken. Okay, it's taken. temporarily. But right now everybody knows us in the space, so we've been hanging on to the name. The partners keep trying to say, let's change this. And I'm like, everybody calls us, they know our name, why would we change it now? It really has no meaning. And then found out that one of my partners, we have like the L and a 2, and he was saying, how'd you get the L and the 2? I go, I made it up in my mind one day, why? He's a PhD in applied particle physics. And he said, well, he did his thesis on this. It's a space, someplace in outer space, excuse me, that's, it's findable and trackable, but it's very hard to find and very hard to track. And I go, sounds like venture to me, so why don't we just leave it? So that's how we got it. Yeah.
Can I just say, just to clarify, by the way, I'm taking IBM 2. You lot can have everything after that. I've already uploaded it on that. So, and let me just get the details here. So your partners include Mike Miller, who co-founded Clouden,
Yes.
which is a database service that eventually sold to our host, IBM,
Yep.
and Michael Marr, who co-founded TalkBin, which was a customer feedback platform that sold to Google. So you've got a really good pedigree of people now. So when you are looking for organizations at this stage in the cycle, and over the last 5 years, have you changed how you pick a winner? Is it about the idea? Is it about the plan? Is it about the people? And don't say all of the above.
Well, in some cases it's a combination, but in most cases when you get in as early as we like to get in, because we call ourselves seed, but if we can get in before the seed stage, we like to do that. Excuse me. One of the things about our team is pretty diverse. If you had Nathaniel onto there, who's now in the fund with us, been there for a couple years now, he's on the social mobile side of things. And the ability of the team to go out and source deals has been great. Our first fund we spent really going out and trying to build relationships with the LPs and also with portfolio companies and show that we actually we were capable post-investment of helping a young company grow and understand proper wage, cap tables, some simple things. So with Mike and Michael and Nathaniel all going through those phases from startups, excuse me, been flying for 2 days. I was 24 hours yesterday stuck. I got in at 3 this morning, so excuse me, I got a little, I think that airplane stuff.
So, well, and let me tell you, I love San Francisco. The airport can't handle the rain. We've had guests that are coming on later on today delayed 5-6 hours.
Well, I was at the airport at 7 a.m. in Florida and got in bed last night at 2:45.
Yikes.
But anyway, I think the group is pretty unique, and the capabilities. We have a great investor base that we lean on occasions. For example, biotech, we have a guy up in Seattle. Actually, Mike Miller lives in Seattle. So the deal flow from him is a little bit different than we see down here. But there's a guy that invested with us who also invests for the University of Washington in the biotech space. So we have a biotech company. He gets on the phone. Okay, I'm out of here. Just send me your notes. Because I'm wasting my time when I'm on the phone when he's on there with us, and he loves doing it. We've had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, we try to find companies real early. We try to steer them also into the Y Combinator system, basically for network. The network there is huge.
And may I ask, we've got a very savvy crowd here. Are there any trends that you're spotting right now in terms of new and upcoming businesses, areas where they're focusing, areas that you think could be very interesting in 3 to 5 years? What trends are you seeing?
Well, we've been pretty active still on the software side of things, and we're pretty agnostic on where we invest. So I'll give you. Everybody thought scooters were gone. We got involved in a scooter company that we invested at $5 million, and they were oversubscribed at $150 million, and then now they're close to 500. So those are things that we think are gone, but are still there, and just depend. It's not in the U.S., so I think there's a big difference. A lot of seed stage firms do not like to invest outside the U.S. Our first $2 billion valuations both came from outside the U.S., so we're not afraid to step out there. And but I think that any specific space, you know, I still love the autonomous space. I just think that somewhere down the line, we all need to get our hands off the wheels, because I'm so tired of going 55 in the fast lane, right? Find somebody who's afraid to go fast. So if we all get in cars and we can set them and go, I'll be a happy camper.
How far out do you think we are from full level 5 autonomous driving?
I still think we're a ways, unfortunately.
Because of innovation or because of regulation?
I think a little bit of both. I think there's still some innovation that needs to be fine-tuned to where everyone's happy that something's not going to go wrong, although everything goes wrong while we're driving, so something's going to happen no matter what. But I think regulation also is a part where we're involved in a trucking company down in Florida right now that's delivering long hauls, still right now autonomously. So I'm just enthralled by the space. I just like the idea that I don't have to steer. And my wife will leave me alone because I won't be yelling at the driver in front of me.
Those will be happy times.
Yeah. We've been seeing everything though. We still looked at the diaper company the other day. We looked at a bunch of stuff. We have satellites in the sky that are about to do some amazing things, and for us, not for us, but for one of our states, I can't say yet, it hasn't been announced, but they're about to open up a big product for them.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if at any point you find a company that can perfect autonomous diaper changing, you've got a winner there, just like that. Let me ask you, you've listed for us some incredible successes, and we're wowed by some of the phenomenal profits that your funds have made. Any disappointments? And what did you learn from the disappointments?
I think one of the things, we had a company that, I won't name any names, but they were one of the first to market, and they put out a YouTube, and they had, I think it was 15 or 17 million pre-sales day one, and we're thinking, oh, this is going to be great, and they got stuck on being, they're raising their next round. They wanted a $100 million valuation, and everyone kept telling them, you can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. You don't have, your product's not out. In fact, my son was testing the product up at our ranch, and it just wasn't ready. And they weren't ready for that valuation. We couldn't talk them out of it. And all of a sudden, they had $35 million in the bank of pre-sales that they couldn't touch because they couldn't get the product out, and they ended up having to close the doors. And I think what we learned from that is we need to be a little more aggressive. Usually, our team, we consider ourselves in the boat, but we're not driving. But if you need help, we're there to help. Because our team, went through most of the problems they're going to have, and try to help them understand. We should have been a little more aggressive on that front instead of. That was early in one of our first funds, so we kind of let the lead kind of steer, but we should have jumped in a little stronger with our guys and tried.
Talking of jumping in, how often do you, Joe Montana, get involved in advising the leaders of these companies and offering ideas?
I get more involved as they mature. So I'm the one that's going out. We had companies that were bought by Uber, American Express, Yantech, Open Door. So I'm that guy. I'm the guy. I come here to speak, meet companies, and I try to keep those contacts as our companies go for looking for that introduction. Whole Foods is another one. One of the CEOs is an investor in our fund, so he loves helping us also. But that's where I do most of my work. Early on, I go in and meet the companies with them, but as for finding the companies at this point, I was involved early in the first fund, but we have, I think, 220 companies right now.
Wow.
And so somebody has to be on that end of the tail of the dog. So that's me.
And there must be a moment where you sit back sometimes and think, maybe this is too much. Because if you're spread that thinly and your team is spread that thinly, there's a risk you could take your eye off the ball, so to speak.
Well, that's, you haven't met Michael Ma yet. Michael Ma, he's a little energizer bunny. You can't slow him down. He's one of those guys that doesn't miss anything, no matter how many companies, no matter how simple the ask. If he doesn't see you jump on the return of the email right away, he bumps you like right away. So I think that, yeah, there's enough out there to miss, but a lot of it is we're not the lead. We usually, we like to say we're the second biggest check in the fund into the company. And we have, in our second fund, we put aside some capital to lead a couple of deals and see how that works for us. But in most cases, we don't take board seats. So we're only there if a company needs us. And yeah, my email, I still have 400 and some emails haven't read yet. But I'm getting to them slowly.
You've got a good excuse. On stage, you've got these fine things.
The faster I get rid of them, the faster they keep coming in.
Yeah, we know what that's like.
And the more companies we invest in, it keeps going.
So there's a company that you guys have invested in called PROGPOW. Now, this apparently allows customers to buy a cow directly from ranchers using a crowdfunding approach. And as I understand it, you can actually buy shares or a specific cut from a cow. And once all the shares are sold, the meat's then directly shipped. Is this happening?
Yes, it is. Actually, our partner in Seattle found them up. They're up in Seattle. And when you look at the space of online beef, there's one big leader in it.
Right.
And these guys really took a different spin, and they first started just only in grass-fed and grass-finished, where you could go on and they started off with selling a cow. And so they wouldn't go to the second cow until the first cow was completely purchased. And they've obviously matured past that point now because they have so many users. Companies now over 100 million. They have also spread out into pork and chicken. So
that's phenomenal.
And they've also gotten away from just grass-fed. So they do have grass-fed and grain-finished also. So they're doing really well. We're really happy with them. They continue to grow, and they're one of the ones that continue to look for me to help on some introductions down the road and some of the other bigger.
I'm guessing it was an easy decision to buy a stake in that company. Thank you very much. I've been waiting to do that all day.
That's so wrong.
This week, I apologize. This week, IBM unveiled its Be Equal initiative. It focuses on promoting gender parity in leadership roles in the workplace. How have you seen roles for women changing in tech and in some of the organizations you're involved in?
Well, one of the things that I read recently is that women founders return, I think it's like 70-some cents on the dollar, and men founders return somewhere in the 20s.
Wow.
But yet only get 8% of the capital that's invested. So I just looked at, there was a women's only incubator that unfortunately I was gone, but it sent I asked one of our interns to go and represent because I'm really curious about it. We have had, I think we had a miss already because there was a founder that was doing basically WeWork for women only, and they just recently had a big round, and the founder was awesome. And somehow we couldn't get everyone to agree, or enough guys to agree to invest, but the space is very intriguing to me. I'm really trying to push that. We have there's a company that, with a female founder, got in early. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that's kind of crazy how things work. She was in telemedicine way before telemedicine really became boutique now. And she has been a pit bull. This company should have gone at least 3 times or 4 times by now, but she had not let it go, and she finally kept fighting, and she just got funded by one of the, can't name the company, but one of the top companies. She just kept, she won't let it go, and I said, wherever you go next, I'm following. But those are the kind of things that you see, and women, I'm pushing to get more women founders into our, we're not, I mean, we don't really think that way. we don't actively push for that, but we want to see more women founders too.
And that number that you just revealed to us, 70 cents return on the dollar, being so much higher than the male founders, do you have any theories as to why that happens?
I have no idea. But you know, I just think that when you get behind, when you have something to prove, and I think that most women out there today want to show that, hey, we're as good as men, and if not better. And I think that they see things a little bit differently, sometimes a little smarter, and we are afraid to admit it, most of us, but I think that places they enter the market, the things that they bring to the market really have a value to it. You know, we like to, like I said, invest early, and we've seen every idea you can imagine. But usually, it's like investing with someone from the military, right? They're going to be very structured, and women have just a different way of seeing a company, building a company, and I've got a lot of fight. Yeah,
all right.
Running, yeah.
Great answer, thank you. Our time is almost up, so just a few remaining questions. When you look back on your incredible career, which continues apace, do you see yourself primarily as former incredibly successful quarterback, or a current incredibly successful investor and philanthropist?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't. You know what? The one thing about me is that I don't look back a lot. You know, I get forced to look back because, for some reason, in sports, everybody remembers backwards. But I say, okay, so how come when CEOs change in large companies, you don't have the same people coming up, hey, I loved you when you were at IBM. It's just not the same. So you get kind of forced into doing that. And but in most cases, I mean, every day, I work every day. Unfortunately, the internet never shuts down, so sometimes Saturday and Sunday, to my wife's dismay. But I don't think about football until it's on. Right. Then I like to watch the games, but I don't follow. I could never have a fantasy team because I could never keep up with it. I just don't watch enough of it to do that. But I'm more concentrated on where I'm going instead of where I've been. And it's always been that way from when I left high school, when I left Notre Dame, and when I left the NFL.
All right, so last question then is what's on the horizon? What next for Joe Montana? What might we be discussing if we were here again next year at this time?
Well, I'm trying to retire from retirement because retirement is killing me. I'd probably be hopefully raising fund 3 or 4 coming up. I don't see getting out of this for some period of time. It's fun. We have a great team that we put together, and I really enjoy working with them, and actually working with my oldest son has been a lot of fun. We get a lot of crap for some of the things that, well, it's family and all this, but I go, okay, so we have 2 billion-dollar companies, third one raising that $1 billion, and 2 on the Forbes list that are coming in to the next $1 billion valuation, and 3 of them are his. So I'm happy working with him, and I'm happy to let him steer the ship and be a part of it. And I think that's, for me, I don't see anything changing. Maybe a little more vacation time, my wife out. But other than that, I love it. I love doing what we're doing. I love seeing the new technology and the new ideas that are out there. I mean, it's fun. We have a Y Combinator class coming up that I think when I first went, there were 50 companies. Wow. This batch has, I think, 208. Wow. And there's 2 batches a year, so keeps us moving. So.
There's so much innovation out there, and I'm sure those organizations are delighted and thrilled that you're part of the industry. And we are delighted and thrilled that you joined us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Montana. A big thanks to Joe. know you guys are heading out, but don't forget Tony Hawk is going to be with me in the Park Theatre a little bit later on this afternoon, along with Rodney Mullen. Hope to see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Tony Hawk, bro. Well, I think we're gonna do Tony Hawk. I don't know if I'll go do that live if you guys want that or not, but we're gonna see if we can get it. I tweeted him earlier, so we'll see. All right, guys. Just catch you a bit.